evening. Thank you for staying on watching CNN News 18. A fire call in the outhouse of a judge's bungalow in the heart of the national capital. Sudden discovery by the fire service team of currency notes stashed away, some burning, rumors, allegations of corruption, questions about the collegium system, and now an eyewitness account which says torn currency notes were also dumped outside the house in the garbage dump. The details continue to tumble out in the cash at judge's residence scandal. Questions are being asked if this is a case of corruption in the judiciary or is someone trying to implicate a sitting judge. On the big explosive debate tonight, we ask, will there be justice in the Justice case?
सर वो 4-5 दिन पहले यहाँ सफाई कर रहे थे, वो ढेर उठा रहे थे कूड़े का, तो उसमें जला हुआ कुछ सामान था, उसमें 500 के नोट थे जले हुए, वो छोटे छोटे टुकड़े थे.
There have been concerns about the judiciary on various aspects. One is the concern about corruption. Judges are now openly endorsing a majoritarian culture in this country, endorsing and taking political positions.
The judiciary is something we all look up to, and therefore it's important for the credibility of the institution, both individual credibility and institutional credibility, that the truth comes out at the earliest.
सिर्फ ट्रांसफर, सस्पेंड या टर्मिनेशन ये तो नहीं चलता है, लेकिन इसके बारे में क्रिमिनल प्रोसिक्यूशन भी हो सकता है.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इसमें 2 तो ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस हैं हाई कोर्ट के, एक ऑनरेबल जज है, उनकी अध्यक्षता में कमेटी बना दी. कमेटी की रिपोर्ट आने दो, फिर बात करेंगे.
Several unanswered questions as we get more and more details about this particular case. But to understand this further, joining us on the show, at the top of this show, is former judge of the Delhi High Court, Justice S.N. Dhingra. He's here with us. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18 on this issue. Let me begin by asking, when you first read about this case, what was your first reaction?
You see, the exposure of corruption was the first thought. Although corruption has been there in judiciary, but such a blatant exposure of corruption was for the first time. Earlier also there had been exposure of corruption, but this was, you see, a room full of currency notes having burnt, and video coming forward of burnt currency notes, then removal of the entire thing from the room. All this speaks loudly of the corruption which is there in judiciary. It is not that every judge is corrupt, but corruption is there.
Okay. So, not every judge is corrupt, but there is some corruption. But as far as the probe so far is concerned, even as late as today, which is almost 10 days since the fire allegedly broke out, my colleagues are unearthing burnt 500 rupee notes from outside Justice Varma's residence, notes which appear to have been torn, burnt and dumped. So as far as the probe is concerned, as far as the securing the crime scene, securing the evidence is concerned, what do you make of what you have read or what's in the public domain so far?
I think in this case there has been a great lapse on the part of police as well as on the part of the Delhi High Court. Once it was brought to the notice by fire department to the notice of police that there was pile of currency notes which got burnt, and semi-burnt or burnt notes could be seen, and a video was prepared. The first thing to be done was to secure the scene of crime and to seal it. This is what happens in all crime cases, that you have to secure the scene of crime. It is not that currency notes are found often in the houses of judges, and it was nothing unusual. It is, you see, it was something very serious. So police should have sealed the entire premises, including outhouse and servants' quarter and the bungalow, main bungalow of the judge, and should have informed the Chief Justice that, see, this is nothing to do with the working, judicial working of the judge. See, the judicial working of the judge does not require him to store money in the a storeroom, to stack money in a storeroom. See, that, since it was not part of his judicial work, he had no immunity or protection. And when, if FIR would have been registered at the very same time, and premises had been sealed, and the evidence had been kept intact, many more things would have come forward. Investigation should have started right there. It is a normal procedure of, you see, any crime scene. And crime scene should have been protected. Why? How could the entire thing be removed? And the burnt notes were being found in the streets around the judge house. That simply shows that there was tampering with the evidence. And at whose instructions the tampering took place? All this will now be found out, but the substantial evidence has been removed. Now the judge can say, you see, what we are showing is a video. How, who knows where these notes are burned? There, you see, and what kind of notes were these? Whether they were real notes or they were fake notes? How you are attaching this crime to me? So all these things can, you see, can be taken as defense. The very advocates who are condemning corruption in the courts now, after this incident, some of them will be, you see, paid fees and defending this very judge before criminal court and raising all kinds of doubts and saying, no, he is not corrupt. It is not him. It doesn't belong to him.
I want to pause for a bit here because also joining me on the show, former top cop and former special director in the Intelligence Bureau, Yashwardhan Azad. Also joining me live is Shashank Shekhar Jha, lawyer in the Supreme Court, and Shahid Ali, who's an advocate. But to you first, Mr. Yashwardhan Azad, you must have heard Justice Dhingra. Pinpointed question, in any other crime scene, wouldn't the first reaction of the police be to secure the crime scene, to ensure that the place of occurrence where these currency notes have been found, that place is sealed? Even now, like I told him also, even today, which is almost 10 days since the alleged crime happened, torn pieces of currency notes are being found outside. Clear case of tampering of evidence.
Absolutely right. But can you expect any police to take any action and get a contempt notice from the lordships? Will they not say that, how did you not inform us first and then proceed with the matter? Impossible. I don't think there is anything wrong on the part of the police investigation. We have sufficient evidence right now. Now, the Honorable Chief Justice has made a committee. There is a 3-member committee which can give a report in within 1 day, the prima facie report can be given. And let me tell you, it's very easy to point out deficiencies in police investigation. In this particular case, it is fairly evident that this judge does not deserve immunity on corruption. No judge deserves immunity on corruption. The Chief Justice should order an investigation. It should be, if you want, it can be supervised by the Lokpal, give it to the CBI, but a case of disproportionate, under the Prevention of Corruption Act should be instituted against this judge, because that is the only way. The other way, Arunima, is a very long, tortuous process where you lead towards impeachment, and as you know, nothing happens in that. Today, the higher you are in the constitutional hierarchy or as an officer or a public sector, the more grave is your crime if you indulge in corruption. And then he should be now treated as an ordinary, prima facie case of corruption and investigated against.
Okay. Mr. Azad, while I understand that the police cannot go ahead, he's a sitting judge, Justice Dhingra thinks that he does not enjoy immunity. The immunity is only for judicial work, and this had nothing to do with his judicial work. But purely in terms of, if I am to presume that this indeed was a crime scene, We are not even getting into whose money, because whose money, how did it get there, all of that investigation will tell us. But purely from the point of view of investigation, do you think enough damage has been done? The crime scene has been tampered with. We don't know where the debris have disappeared. If there were currency notes that were burnt, then where did that half-burnt sack of note go? That's crucial evidence.
Well, then the two cases should be instituted. One should be the Prevention of Corruption Act, and that the other is the attempt to obliterate evidence. Very simple. You know, the fact that the 15 crores were found, or whatever crores were found, is established, and the attempt to remove it has also been there. In fact, the Chief Justice himself has said that it is difficult to conceive that anybody from outside could get an access. So the security is there, the gardeners are there, they can be questioned. It's a fit case for a proper investigation, which any Thana can do. But if you want that he's a constitutional position or a judge, a very high up, then you have it done under the Lokpal and get it done under the CBI. I think he deserves to be treated because the entire nation has been shocked with this. You know, earlier on, we used to treat lordships as lords because we never expected any kind of corruption. But in today's, environment, it is extremely important because the political firmament is also polluted, which helps the judges in getting, positions after retirement. And therefore, it is very important that the case be instituted.
Right. Mr. Azad, I know you're in a rush, but I have to ask you before I let you go. From the policeman's point of view, the evidence that is before you, first evidence is that this crime allegedly has occurred at the residence or at the outhouse which belongs to the judge, which has been allotted to the judge. But the second point is this video which has now been released. Can in his defense anybody say that this is an undated, untimed video? We do not know whether this video has actually been shot at that outhouse. How do we ascertain that? We don't even know if the currency that we are seeing are fake or real. So has this time lapse and the failure to seal the scene of crime led to these kind of questions which could perhaps lead to a situation where we will never know what really happened, what the truth was?
Well, first, I would say that the Chief Justice press release, in fact, the committee report, will be a very, very important aid for the investigation, number one. Number two, if the Chief Justice or the person in his, the justice in the report has mentioned that there is no access from outside, then the crime is established that in your own house where people cannot get access from outside, getting so many notes is something which should be looked into. Third, the video needs to be verified because for any electronic evidence to be put up in court, you need authentications and verification which date accept. Once the authenticity is established, then that will be taken into consideration. And I think it's important now, Arunima, that the committee should give its report within a day or so that the investigation can start, because this is fresh in the minds, whether the gardeners, the security guards, they need to be interviewed, and also the Honorable Judge himself.
Right. Mr. Azad, appreciate you joining us and helping us understand what this means from the investigation point of view, because there are a lot of questions being asked whether the crime scene has been contaminated beyond what it could finally be retrieved if a proper investigation is allowed. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Azad. I just want 2 minutes of your indulgence, Shashank Shekhar Jha and Shahid Ali, because I do want to go back to Justice Dhingra. Justice Dhingra, the judge in the dock here, Justice Varma, in his defense, he has denied any knowledge about the cash that has allegedly been found at the outhouse. He, in fact, in his letter to the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court said that this outhouse was accessed by many of his staff members and even sometimes perhaps the CWD officials who could access this place for maintenance work. So, because you've been a High Court judge, you've been allotted a similar bungalow in Delhi, I'm presuming. Is this how it works? Anyone has access to the peripheral structures? And does that absolve the judge in whose name the house has been allocated?
See, first thing, the entire bungalow is allotted to a judge, including outhouse, including servants' quarter, including garage. And it is under his responsibility. If you see something happens in the bungalow, then judge cannot say it is not part of my bungalow. First thing, because the entire bungalow is allotted to him, and he is the custodian of the bungalow so long as he lives there. He may allow criminals to be in outhouse. Can he say that, you see, I had given my outhouse to some outsiders, so I'm not responsible? Can he say so? If a murder takes place within the premises of the bungalow, can he say that this is not my, say, I don't live there at the place where murder took place? So these are excuses which every criminal makes. I'm sorry to use these words, but every offender always takes a defense of denial. Have you seen any offender saying, yes, yes, it was my cash? Even you see, the recovery is made from the bedrooms of the accused persons, and they deny it is conspiracy. I don't know how this money came in my bedroom. So these kind of defenses are often taken by the accused persons. It is nothing surprising.
Justice Jingra, you did question whether the police should have done something differently. But what the policemen are saying, and we heard it also just now, there is immunity from prosecution that judges enjoy. So police did the right thing by allowing the Chief Justice to handle the matter?
See, it is not only police response. Normally, since recovery was this incident was inside the bungalow of a judge, the police did the right thing of informing the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court. Now, Delhi High Court should have immediately asked the police to seal the scene of crime and to proceed with the investigation and register an FIR. It was not necessary to be a FIR against the judge because the judge was not even present. It should have been an FIR of recovery of the huge cash amount and which got burnt. We are semi burnt or burnt, and who knows? There would have been many more, currency notes available in his main bungalow also. And the police did not seal the thing. So the High Court should have ordered these things. The High Court should have ordered, okay, you have informed us, well and good, you proceed with the investigation, seal the premises, make it safe, nobody should enter it, and we shall see, next step, we shall give you guidance. The High Court did not perform its duty of keeping the evidence intact and keeping the premises sealed from the interference. Then, okay, you have not done that much. One thing I may again make clear, there is no immunity to High Court judge or to any other person from this kind of act. The immunity is in respect of judicial action taken by the judges, in respect of orders passed by them, judgments given by them, in respect of official acts. Not these kind of acts, there is no immunity. So the question of immunity was not there before High Court Chief Justice or before Supreme Court Chief Justice. So immediate steps should have been taken to do further investigation by the High Court as well as by the Supreme Court when it came to their knowledge.
Okay.
You make a in-house inquiry, good, but by the time you have ordered in-house inquiry, the entire evidence is gone except one video. So entire evidence is gone, and you have given enough time to tamper with the evidence. That is the concern.
Okay. So if you feel that enough time has been given to tamper with the evidence, if mistakes have been made as far as securing the crime scene, alleged crime scene is concerned, then where do you see this case proceeding from here on? Can the committee really tell us what the truth is?
I think after so much halagulla about this incident, the Supreme Court may recommend, the inquiry committee may recommend his impeachment and his removal from the service. The judicial work has already been done. But I am very much doubtful about the success of the criminal proceedings. Criminal proceedings may be initiated, but they may not succeed because the kind of defense available and the kind of judgments we have in criminal cases where there is little doubt. You see, let's criminals go scot-free. So that if we have this kind of criminal law, which is now prevalent because of the Supreme Court and High Court judgments, I don't find that there will be any success in the criminal case.
All right. Justice Dhingra, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking time out for the viewers of CNN News 18 and sharing your thoughts about this case. Justice Dhingra there telling us that a crucial act of securing the crime scene may have damaged this case as far as criminal probe is concerned. But will the committee manage to salvage the situation? That's what I want to understand from Shashank Shekhar Jha, who's a lawyer in the Supreme Court, and Shahid Ali, who's also an advocate. First and foremost, a big thank you to both of you for staying on for so long. Let me begin with you, Shashank Shekhar Jha. What is the mood in the bar like? We heard the Allahabad High Court Bar Association come out with a very, very, stringent one-liner that we are not a trash bin that you can throw anybody here. But here in Delhi, the Delhi High Court Bar, the Supreme Court Bar, what is the mood like after these revelations?
Namaste, Arunima ji and my fellow panelists here. Arunima ji, there are three aspects to this. We in bar and in general also common citizens have been very proud of our Indian judiciary. Whenever Indian judiciary actually took corruption with iron hand, have been very, very strict and very serious whenever there are allegations of corruption against any bureaucrat or for that matter any politician. Now when the matter is against a judicial and high court judge, the manner in which it has been taken is really condemnable. Initially transferring the justice to Allahabad High Court and then taking back and then saying that it is not related to that. It shows that you're trying to, put sand on the issue overall. There is a general perception also that, if normal people and normal citizens cannot lodge an FIR against judicial, sitting on constitutional board, then it is expected from Supreme Court or Chief Justice of India or for that one Chief Justice of that particular High Court that they will be more responsible and more accountable in such a scenarios, which is being lacking in this scenario. I was listening to other fellow panelists on this show, and there's one more aspect to this. Someone was suggesting that, Lokpal should come into this picture. We need to understand, Arunima ji, that just 2 weeks back, Honorable Supreme Court has actually stopped Lokpal into getting into, corruption charges against High Court judges. So it is Supreme Court which has barred Lokpal also. And third aspect, Arunima ji, India is the only country where Supreme Court judges appoints and transfers the judges of Honorable Supreme Court as well as High Court. So when you have the responsibility, you have taken that responsibility on yourself because Constitution does not allow that. Even Constituent Assembly did not allow that. Now Supreme Court has themselves taken that responsibility on themselves, to appoint judges at High Court and Supreme Court. And now if there are allegations like this, and there are immunities as well, because to protect the judges of High Court and Supreme Court, there's an immunity, and that is why till date no judge has been actually impeached in Parliament. In such a scenario, the responsibility of High Court and Supreme Court, rises even more. So in such a scenario, if you're transferring someone to some other court or if you're not handling it properly, it is not only against that particular judge, but the image of the entire judiciary get tarnished. If I am representing a particular client before a particular judge, so tomorrow that client may say that we don't know whether that judge is sold out or not. We don't even know that whether that judge has taken money or not. So I think, such a scenario is very evitable, can be happening anytime because we all are human. But the way it has been tackled, could have been better,
Shahid Ali, do you also agree the way it has been tackled, it could have been better? The faith of the litigants, the faith of the common person has been shaken by the handling of the issue?
The faith has now been reimposed by Honorable Chief Justice of India, Mr. Sanjiv Khanna, once he has put entire report in public domain. And he has also instructed Delhi High Court Chief Justice not to allot any judicial work to him till the inquiry is going on. So as far as the faith is concerned, faith has been reimposed. Now the other aspect from the public, from the report which has been put in public domain. Now, right now, I have been hearing Justice Mr. Dhingra. He has rightly put that this case, if is put to trial in the present form, will not stand on its legs at all. Because there are certain flaws in the present case. Number one, if the bungalow must be having the CCTV installation everywhere. So why till now the CCTV footages have not been collected as to who put those sacks of notes into that outhouse? Because as far as the Justice Verma's comment or claim is that he has not put, and that was accessible to all. So this video clippings or the video footage would have played very very vital role as to who had entered into that outhouse to put those bags. And as far as the other part is concerned, when those bags were recovered, why the other staff of Justice Verma's house or the bungalow was not got involved as far as while the videography was done, while the evidences were collected. So there are many flaws. And moreover, Justice Varma was not in Delhi. Since this has been put in public trial, and as and when anything is put in public trial, the media or media trial, public trial, the people takes on its face value that yes, he is the criminal. And as Justice Dhingra, he in fact we have appeared before him a lot. He is also saying that criminal. He has used the word criminal. So this is the impact of the media trial, which unfortunately is being taking place right now. I believe that if the fair trial is allowed to be conducted in the present case as well, then the media has to be barred from reporting all these things. In-house inquiry is pending, and the report is in the public domain.
Shahid Ali, I mean, if the media had not reported, perhaps you wouldn't even have gotten to know that such a case is dead. If the media had not reported, then the roster change that happened on the 17th, if it was effective 17th, he was continuing to be rostered. So I'm afraid I can't agree with you there. That media is to blame. I'm sorry, I've run out of time completely.
What media is impacted? Even Justice Dhingra is using the word criminal for him.
Okay.
He
I
has
know
not proven
Shashank
guilty so
Shekhar
far.
Jha wants to come in as well, but I've completely run out of time, gentlemen. I think we'll have to plan another show on this to understand the impact of what has happened on the credibility of the judiciary. Your views, share with us on our social media handles. Thanks for watching. Good night.